Well, I'm back. In a timely manner. But tonight I'm here to talk to you about the game I was most hyped for this year. No, I'm not a human. Now, I wasn't aware of this game till PAX East 2025, and funny enough, I actually didn't even play it there. But while I was waiting in line for Buckshot Roulette and Tanuki Pond Summer, the trailer for No I'm Not a Human played on an endless loop, and something about it just really intrigued me. So after PAX, I looked into the game in whatever way I could. I watched some Let's Plays of the original VHS version, and I watched some lore videos too. So by the time the demo for the full game came out, I was hooked. And that demo was hands down my favorite gaming experience of the year. Coming together and figuring out the achievements while picking apart the small amount of lore the demo had with people on Steam was just really fun. Then finally in September, the full game came out, and I'm happy to say that I think the hype was worth it, because this has to be one of the most unique games I've played in a while. Anyways, let's start with a quick story recap. You're a nameless loner, only known as the homeowner, and one day all hell breaks loose on Earth. Some cataclysmic event caused by the sun makes going outside during the day deadly because of the heat. And yet, somehow even more horrifying, monsters are crawling out of the ground and donning human faces, simply known as the Visitors. So since you can't go outside and you can't trust anyone anymore, it has to be the perfect scenario for our loner protagonist, right? Well, unfortunately for him, you can't survive alone during this apocalypse, or the Pale Man will kill you. So, you have no choice but to let people in. Thankfully, with civilization collapsing, violence all over the city, people being untrustworthy, and other lonely people trying to survive, companionship is really easy to come by. In fact, they just show up right to your door. So now your job is to let people in. But be wary, because anyone can be a visitor. So now your nights are spent answering the door, letting people in, and looking outside at all the chaos. As your days are spent talking to your house guests, making phone calls, drinking beers or energy drinks, and most importantly, checking your house guests to make sure they're not visitors. Oh, and playing with the cat. Because playing with the cat is more important than being killed by a visitor. You check for visitors by checking their teeth, which should be perfect and white, their fingernails, which should be dirty from crawling from the ground, their eyes, which should be red from the sun, and their armpits, which should be clean shaven. Alongside the stuff on their body, you could also take photos of them with a special type of photo paper called Aura Cam that will show you their aura. But again, you gotta be very wary, because any normal human can easily have those symptoms. So you gotta make 100% sure you're not killing a human. Having visitors in your house isn't your only problem, because the things and even the people outside are there to torment you. There are the so-called good guys, FEMA, who will take your house guests away for some unknown research. There's the Pale Man, who's actually a nice guy. He's just there to make sure you're not alone during the apocalypse, and if you are, he'll come join you. And lastly is the Vigilante, who's hunting for visitors after his brother and his family was killed, but takes things to an extreme, killing anyone showing even one sign of being a visitor. So with everything going on, you only have one objective: survive. The gameplay itself is actually very simple. It's a lot of talking, answering doors, drinking beers, energy drinks, and coffee, and checking people for the visitor symptoms. But it has one really amazing trick up its sleeve that really helps the player get immersed in the world, and helps them feel the same paranoia that the homeowner does, because everyone is randomized in each playthrough, besides a few select characters. So each time you play, you'll have no idea who's a human, who's a visitor, or even what character is going to show up to your door. I really love this concept, because like I said, it really keeps you on edge about letting anyone in. There's also 48 guests in total, but during a playthrough, you'll only meet about 28 guests. Or 29 if you meet the twins. So it could take a couple of playthroughs to actually meet every single guest. I gotta give the developers credit too. They do a really good job of making every character interesting. The characters don't even get names, yet they really stick with you. Whether it be because of their unique look, or because of their dialogue and personality. Some tell stories about what's going on outside, some tell stories about their life and their outlook, some are just funny little weirdos, and some of them are just the worst people ever. My favorite guests are probably the firefighter, who's clinging on to life after being horrifically burnt while fighting a major forest fire. Among Us Man, a hustler who absolutely sucks at hustling, since he's dumb as rocks. The Gravedigger, who recounts about how he came across an empty coffin while digging. The twins, who are the complete opposite personality-wise, but completely switch personalities as their story unfolds. and the Ranger, who shares a beer with you as he tells you the story about how he met the Pale Man. The character art really plays into the paranoia too, because the style is just all over the place, which gives each character such a unique look. Some are fully drawn, some are just completely photoshopped, and some are a mix of the two. But overall, none of these characters look like they even belong in the same game, but it works so well at making you feel uneasy. I only really have one major complaint with this game, but unfortunately it's a pretty big one. Because the randomness of this game is its strong point, but it's also its biggest problem too. If you're playing the game normally, it's completely fine. The worst thing that could happen is your favorite character dies, gets taken by FEMA, or they're the visitor and you have to kill them. That's all part of the game. But what really drives me insane is the randomness attached to the achievements. Because there's some characters that you need to get on specific days. The worst example has to be the Martyr achievement, because in order to get this achievement, you just have to listen to all of the teacher's dialogue, which sounds easy enough. All you gotta do is talk to her for 5 days in a row, but the problem is that you need to get her on either day 1, 2, or 8. If you don't get her on day 1 or 2, she'll be replaced on day 8 by a guest that you actually can't deny entry to. And if you get her anytime after day 8, you won't have enough days to get through her story. It's a shame too, because I really love this game, so much so that I 100%ed it. But the randomness almost made me stop playing the game entirely, because it took me way too long to get the final 3 achievements, all because 2 characters just wouldn't show up. Thankfully, after probably 30 playthroughs, I got those last 2 characters, but I would never recommend anyone else try it, unless they were the luckiest person in the world. Other than that though, I still think it's a really solid game, and my favorite game of 2025. It's great if you're looking for something that's not necessarily outright scary, but will make you paranoid throughout your entire playthrough. It's however a short game, only taking a little under an hour to beat, and 20 minutes if you're a speedrunner. But it's got multiple endings and a lot of door encounters you won't see on one playthrough. Well, until next time, are you alone in there?